Hello, Jinkies family. And today we're here as usual on Tuesdays to receive a transmission. But today is going to be something unusual as we're going to discover two keys at once. And why? Because today is the last day basically of the 31st Jinki, the key of leadership. And tomorrow, from the 30th of July, we're starting the 33rd Jinki. So I felt to do both. We will discover a little bit the 31st, and we'll have the main focus on 33 as we're gonna come into this key and be in this energy for the rest of the week, basically. And yeah, I invite you for this magic. 1 second, I need to adjust something. So as I said, we're starting with the 31st Gene Key, and this is the key of leadership. And in fact, I would say that this key is the one that very attractive to a lot of people nowadays, because a lot of people try or want to be leaders. But what this key is saying that you can't earn leadership, or you can't, just have a workshop and become a leader. The real leader is created by life, through life, and through your experience. So what does it mean to be leader? How arrogance work, and what is the humility? And as I said, we're gonna do this key shortly. I aim for the first 30 minutes of this transmission. So the arrogance. The arrogance basically is a need for approval, a need for being seen. I would say like this. The arrogance is a need for being seen. And this is what in the root of and the depths of the scheme. Because in a human design, this key is also in the throat chakra. And so this is our manifestation, this is how we speak, this is how we present ourselves. So as I said, in the depths of this key is this need to be seen and to receive validation. And this, then we see all the people, and especially nowadays as we have all the social media and that creates in a way and feeds this tendency and this need for being a cool or have a lot of followers and have a right image that you can show to the world to impress people or whatever. So I would, in a way, I would say that right now this shadow is a collective shadow because this is also the society kind of feed this shadow. The program partner is 41st Gene Key, is a key of fantasy. And here we can see how the leader or the arrogant leader sometimes can influence the people or the collective through giving them fantasy or like ideal that they believe in, and then they choose to follow that person by believing in this idea or this fantasy. And in fact, it's not only like in a way of like social media, we can find it anywhere. It's also how politics works. There's also how it works in a spiritual world when, for example, there are leaders or gurus, teachers that also consciously or subconsciously can give you like idea to follow, and you try to follow this fantasy basically because it resonates with something within you, and maybe also with your samskaras. But what is samskaras? Samskaras we're going to cover in the next Gene Key 33. And also you can see, as today is an unusual transmission, how we kind of flow from one key to another and how they interconnected. and how this all is in fact interconnected, because it's all a mandala and we have all the keys in our system. As Richard Rodbin always saying, that don't limit yourself also by your personal chart. So let's dive deeper. Arrogance, as I said, is a need of being seen, and this is also very much represented in the world of politics, in the world of anywhere where we can see one person influence another or others. And what is the main difference between arrogance and true leadership? Because from the level of shadow, we trying to, or not even trying, we're influencing others through manipulating, because this 31st key has very good abilities to manipulate the words, manipulate like the Maya, manipulate the patterns. These people are very good, like NLP, neuroprogrammers, like by nature, they can really good understand the mind and how to influence through certain ideas, beliefs, patterns, and that's why they can kind of, they can see in the future and predict what pattern would be successful, or what I need to say others so they would believe and follow me. And in an arrogance way, or from the shadow of arrogance, the leader, this like false leader, let's say, is not interested really in the soul, or in really another person, or what this person really wants and needs, and what the soul of this person needs. It tries to kind of impulse, or it's tried to put his own idea or fantasy and make others do this, because this person in an arrogant way, in a blind way, can either can understand that he's manipulating, or can just blindly also believe in some idea or fantasy and try to make others also believe in it and pull them into the vortex of his projections to make them choose it but in this case, it's going to happen by, in a way, yeah, as I said, manipulating and suppressing and putting his authority over others. So suppressing the inner master, suppressing the inner authority of others, and putting himself as a like on a pedestal, I think. And also with the shadow of arrogance, it's very hard to see this one of the shadow that's, I would say, almost impossible to see in yourself, because we can like easily see arrogance in others, but we're very blind when it comes to ourselves. And that's why, in a way, the grace of life, how it works, that to make us come from shadow to the gift and to make us see the arrogance, the life makes us fall. The life creates certain situations when we have to fall from this pedestal we created, where certain situations happen, and the more we created this like false crown, the more and the harder going to be this like kind of pushes from life, punches from life. So finally we would fall from this pedestal, from this false how you say this chair where the king sit? Throne, yeah. And fall down, and then only we can humble ourselves, so we can feel humility, humbleness, and start to see what the true and real leader is. And so if life gives you suffering in this key, it means that you need to see your arrogance, and you need to let go of your crown or your like wrong ideas that you created. And also this keys, as I said, it awakens us to a question of inner authority. And in a way, surrender to life, where we don't try to be somebody. Because in a shadow of this key is also idea, who am I? We try to hold an idea. I'm this person, I'm whatever, teacher, artist, jinky master, whatever stories I can have about my personality. Because arrogance, as I said, it needs to feed itself, and it's kind of to make itself bigger, to self-empower, but in a way that it creates the false illusion and just grow the ego, is making it bigger, makes it bigger. And then the more we grow this false identity, believing that I'm this or I'm that, and it can be in absolute any situations and circumstances, in your relationship, in your like career, in your spiritual life. We need to be really careful with the shadow, because it's very easy to create an identification that I'm this or I'm that, and believe in this identification. And through this, we become blind to who we really are, in fact, and beyond all these stories, beyond all these ideas, and we become blind to the true nature of reality. That's why life needs to humble us. And in any levels, it can be tricky, especially in a spiritual world. This key, especially like how it says, the more we create also spiritual identity, the harder life will kick us, because it's very subtle levels of identifications, and then the life still will find a way to humble us and to bring us to leadership and humility. And if we come into a gift, as I said, this key, we're gonna discover, or we're gonna cover it shorter than next one. When we come to true leadership, as I said, first of all, the true leader is the one who made through life, who learned to fall down and then stand up, and fall down again and stand up. In fact, what been said in this key, that being a human, it means to make mistakes. Being a human means to fall down and then stand up and learn from your mistakes and open your heart more and humble more, because being human is just being alive. It's not about being perfect. If you try to be perfect, you are in arrogance. Whatever you try to do perfect or be perfect, you can automatically, if you feel this energy in you, you can automatically just see that this is arrogance. And this, you just try to create some identity, and deeper based on some fears. Of course, we can discover deeper here. It can be fears of I'm not good enough, or like I don't deserve whatever love, or being seen. But in a way, in a deeper ways, there's also a fear that I'm not existent. It's separation from source, and then we're trying to be somebody in a way to fulfill the void within that can't be fulfilled by any external things, no matter how much of them we put inside, but they will not give us peace and love and happiness in the way we're looking for. So when we learn to fall down and come out of our throne and just become a human, we can see that this is where the true leader starts, because the true leader, in fact, it doesn't try to influence others. It's leader because it also helps others to become leaders, their own leaders. The true leader will more guide others to their own authority, rather than putting himself or herself, like I said, on the throne. And this is a huge difference. I could say also from my experience, I had different, let's say, teachers in my life. And for example, there's one teacher who would always inspire or makes me questioning and look within and find answers and connect with my soul and make mistakes if I need and learn from them, but develop this connection with source and God and higher self, and being in inner authority and being responsible for my life. And this, for example, another teacher who put himself on a role of authority and the one who knows everything, and that in fact created a pattern of being small and even not wanting anymore to ask and connect with my higher self, because why? And why I need to ask and connect if there is somebody I can always ask for. But this is in fact a very slippery path, because it leads to truly give your power away. In any case, because I stopped connection with that person, and there's just a difference between how we can teach and what we can do. And for example, when I also work with people, I will always guide them within. There is a difference between help and between saving somebody or believing that you're the one who knows the truth and know how things should be, and not trusting the experience of another soul. And in a way, that's our path is unique, and we all have a unique way of remembering ourselves, remembering the source. And I watched yesterday interesting video of one guy, Matthias De Stefano. Maybe some of you know them because he's quite popular. And something with he was answering the questions and describing that, for example, let's say there is a sphere, and we're all part of the sphere like fractals. And in a way, awakening is when you realize yourself as through all these fractals, like kind of you had all the experiences, but you will have your authentic way, because you are kind of one part of the fractal that experiences the uniqueness, but at the same time you the wholeness at the same time, you all of this. And it means, of course, that the path for liberation, of remembering, or just the soul journey of everybody is very unique. And the true leader will not try to tell you what to do, but in fact will inspire you and will help you to find the answers within and to develop your connection with source or higher self or your soul. So then you would be able to find the answers and live from your own authority. And also the true leadership here is the one true leader, the one who he kind of bridges the past and the future. He stands on the ancient wisdom, and he brings also the new, let's say, new era or new approaches, and combines it. And we can combine always only through heart. So this what makes a true leader. And then the other people can trust this person and also follow him or her, because they don't feel manipulated, or that their power will be taken away, or that they feel respected, they feel heard, and that they feel that there is a trust. Basically, that's what this key is, try to build in us a trust that if you're a true leader, the others will trust you naturally. You don't need to manipulate them to make they do what you need. The trust will happen naturally, because the heart will recognize the truth, and you don't need to do anything for it. So this is a leadership. And before we go into the CD, maybe you want to ask something, as we kind of give in short transmission of this key, but maybe you have some questions.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this. It's always like this. I feel like the gene keys are like divination tools, you know, because they are like connected with always the times of the year and all these kind of things. Everything is so aligned. Um, but I mean, it's of course going to the core again of the teachings that, you know, really the truth always comes from your heart, and that's the real brand. And you can't really fake it. I mean, I don't know how the world is managing to maybe people aren't. Who knows? You know, when you look at like a lot of successful businesses in the world, at least I think at some point in their growth period, I'm sure there was a heart-centered kind of motivation, because how else then can you grow a business just from arrogance? Um, so that's my feeling. I've often thought about that, like, you know, with successful business people who are working in like, you know, like international companies, like there must be on the level of like just being like human, like on the humanity, there must be something that they're doing right. You know, there must be the way the universe opened this channels for them and allow them to develop these like really powerful positions and attract minds and hearts of people. You know, there must be then in these leaders, there must be really this ability to connect with your heart and connect with something like on that level. What do you think or feel?
um, there are different levels to answer this question, I would say, because in a one way, there are a lot of beings in this universe, and some systems, things, or something, they can be supported by what we can say more dark beings, and that can also give money, success, or whatever, because in a way it can be even easier. People can realize it or don't realize what powers they connected with, what contracts they created. Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't. But if we say from a level of a city that everything and everybody is included and everything is a part of life unfolding itself, and then there is no anymore even a question of serving. It's just a question of how life is playing out different roles and how the consciousness experiencing itself through everything, through what we can say good or bad, right or wrong, and beyond our ideas of duality.
Mm. Yeah, I mean that's why, for example, I was referring to the people who are like starting businesses, you know, like not people who are who have grown to like for example, like let's take for example Steve Jobs. I mean, this is a cliche, but like when he was, maybe that's a bad example, but like someone who like starts, like let's say Diary of a CEO, this guy on YouTube who does he's like the most famous podcaster almost behind Joe Rogan. Like it's
I just would say I don't know who's this person, so I out of topic in a way.
okay. Well, I mean, look, the thing is, it's just let's look at just normal world, what's happening in the world, West, whatever, where there is like markets, capitalism, markets, normal like organizations, where how most companies and most businesses have grown actually. Um, like those companies, apart from like when they were built by rich people, like let's say like people who are entrepreneurs who's starting off and have an idea, have a passion or this kind of thing. I'm asking whether these individuals are they led by demonic forces or are they like just listening to their heart and going with what it is their drive, their passion, and then of course, as things grow, then naturally in a capitalism, the things that grow, well, they become like a virus and they just keep growing and then they take over. So that's my question. It's more, what about
Why you asking this question? What's the real core of this interest?
mine?
Huh?
Me? Or do you mean the
No, I mean what inspired you to ask this question?
um well no, like I'm curious because like I know the gene keys like they're they're talking like from the level of shadow, gift, and city, but I'm just trying to understand like when we use the word leadership, like y- normally I mean, I'm sure there's so many, it's like too subjective to really be able to tell what is actually a leader, but like, um,
Okay, I think I understood you and how to answer you. I would say like this: some businesses they've built from shadow, some businesses they've built from gift. I don't know if you can build business from city because in a way, if you're in a city, you're not really interested in building anything.
like I'm saying, is it like black and white, It's like, is some people just arrogant or some people like just heart-centered and there's no like in between in business?
I don't know. You can do your own investigation and decide for yourself.
I'm not experienced in business world. For me, I'm not I didn't step into
You
this,
know,
like I would
it's
say.
if we not say about business, just also about life, as we can move from one frequency to another, and we can start something, for example, on a higher frequency, but then something triggers shadows and then they coming out, or opposite, we can even start something from shadow but then different experiences or challenges or something is happening and helps us to purify and come to gift. So and in a way it's as I said, it's life kind of unfolding itself. So uh, that's why we always need to be mindful in each and every moment, because mindfulness is the gift of the next key we're going to discover. And yeah, I think that maybe we can come to city. Mm?
It's just gonna because I'm really curious about this. Like, um, you can like have like a radical view of the world where it's like you're either like fully in your heart or not, but it's like I think everyone has both tendencies, as you know, to be like sometimes in the shadow and sometimes in gift. I don't know how many you have to be pretty pretty like awake to stay in a gift frequency. You have to be awake, I would say, if you stay there. And like the people who are in like for example, building, like want to be leaders or want to grow. Like I'm using the example of business because I think it makes it interesting, like topic.
Well, I understand you. If I would say from perspective of this key, there is only one question: does what you're doing is serving the whole? Because on a shadow level, if we're building something that based just on our own interest, that I want to have my money, I want to be successful, I want to be popular, the shadow will try to self-empower itself. It doesn't care of how it affects the whole, what it brings to society, to humanity, to collective, to the earth, and to the wholeness. The gift, the difference between arrogance and leader, that the leader is asking the question, what is the greatest service I can offer to the whole? And this is a radical different approaches. And in this case, you can say the black and white, because it's absolutely different approaches and the way how you perceive yourself and you perceive life. And in this way, you can't be one leg here and one leg there, because either you, in this way, we can say following the heart with the question of what is the greatest service I can offer to the whole. That means you connecting with your dharma, basically, and you still can have big, for example, business. If this is a part of your dharma, you still can have a I just, for example, recently been visiting my friends in another city and stayed in their house, in like a summer house. And the man who, let's say, husband of my friend, he's an owner of like some big factory here. He has a lot of money, but his attitude to life and to everything, because we sat, we had really different conversations. There were also people and like friends, but also people from there who work into his company. And he's been sharing some stories. Like when I've been just starting my business, I was paying the people who work with me, the employees, more than I paid myself, more than I had. Because if I wanted this to grow, if I wanted really good people to work and professionals, then they need to have a good salary. And he is a person who, say, on a spiritual journey. So there is a difference, because you can always feel if somebody's heart-centered or somebody's just trying to whatever accumulate more wealth or be more popular, or driven by like the urge to grow kind of himself more.
I understand now. I feel like when you just said those words, then something like switch in my mind, and I see that's like the actually what can seem as like, motivated by purity or what is actually like arrogance, because like when I connect with the minds of those people, even those people, I'm saying this because like when I went to Geneva, and I see in the city like these like people doing these really like cool things, like bring people together, like do socials, running, or work with like bars and different things people are doing. So like on some levels, I was feeling, when I thought about it just now, I felt maybe it was that connected with arrogance as well, because what is their true motivation to do it? I'm not sure it comes from like a
And yeah,
pure
in
place.
fact, thank you for asking this question, because now when you ask, it also helps me when I understand more where the question is coming from. Is we would say there is nothing bad in arrogance as in any shadow, because in fact, as it's just from a higher perspective, it's all just happening. But if we would say, for example, about yourself and about what karma you're creating, or you creating karma, or you dissolving karma, that's again going to be in the next jinky. You tighten yourself more, or you losing the grip. losing the grip. Then you will decide how to act, or from which frequency. But in a perspective of wholeness, it's all a journey and experience. And to be able to even ask yourself a question, what is the greatest service I can offer to a whole? It's already need to be a certain level of maturity. Because you can't ask yourself this question unless you had already like experience in this lifetime, or you really advanced soul and you had a lot of like experience in awakening in previous life, and like your system is naturally created differently. And there is nothing bad that some people, they just interested in whatever, creating more wealth or success or something. And sometimes it's also, when I've been in Bali, for example, there was a time when it was COVID, and some businessmen, people from Russia, they've been coming, and I have a friend like who connected, and he also brought me to make a Jinkies game and connect with them. And they've been these people who they kind of had enough of just building business and just growing finances. They kind of started to question, okay, what else is kind of here? And they found a spiritual path. And I had a friend who'd been kind of guiding them more with like different practices and meditations. And then I also was doing something. And that people, they've tried to, when they started to deepen on a spiritual path, and just like first they started to kind of try it on, I would say, when something is new for you. And then they wanted to create it. I've been working with a person who's been creating an application with like different, that let's say it's a creating application that will give them to others and will help others to find also different practices and techniques. So kind of the people, for example, they already know how to build things because they have this background, this mental structure and understanding. But then when something click and they have different approach, they can then start build things differently. And sometimes we can even see when there is a person who grounded more in a spiritual world, is also can collaborate with somebody who has more business understanding, and then they can also make something together. It's like it's all the life unfolding. I would say the question of this key is, do I try to self-empower myself? This is going to be an arrogance. Or the question is, what is the greatest service I can offer to the whole? Did I answer your question? Okay. And so with this question, what is the greatest service I can offer to the whole? In fact, this is the question that we can see in our vocation, in our personal chart. This is where the core wound becomes a vocation. Because this question, what is the greatest service I can offer to the whole, is the core question of our prosperity. It's what leads us to the world to bring and give out our service and build things, and to do it really like from a soul, from a heart. That means that when we do something from our heart with this question, then we're creating something that really matters. That that shifts something also on a collective level, and not just help you to accumulate wealth for like your own needs, something like this. And when we come into the Sigghi of Humility, as I said, the life will humble us again and again to make us really come to our hearts. Something else I feel coming now for the previous question is, not like there are stages of growing up in evolution, and when we, like, for example, in teenager state, or we still have teenager mind, even sometimes we can grow up, but we still have the certain tendencies in our mind. It's a time when we try to kind of understand ourselves, mind, ideality, who am I, and we're more interested in self-empower. Unless you said you're a really advanced soul, and then from early age, you will already think differently. And if you're advanced soul, then you naturally would not interested in just earning money, because it wouldn't feel right for you. You would not interested in just, for example, or just going to work, or just having family, like doing something just because like everybody's doing this and this is what like should be, or just because you want to be more successful. It will feel naturally that something is off here. And of course you can feel that you like a black sheep until you found people who kind of on the same frequency. There's also was something I want to share a little bit from the video I watched yesterday, again with this Matthias Stefan, and I don't remember what was the question asked to him, but I really like how he explained it in a way that, like, let's say we all can like kind of create it from water. Let's say there is a water element that's it was like a metaphor, but also not a metaphor, you know, like how much they say 70-80% we create from water. And what's the main quality of water? The water is it takes a shape of any form the water put in. If you put it in a glass, it will have a form of glass. If you put it like in a cup, it will have a form of cup. Yeah, if you put it like in a river, whatever, it will be a river. Ocean, it will be ocean. So does the water change? No, but it also, when it stays in certain shape, it starts to have a qualities of the shape. So when we're in a certain environment, our water starts to recalibrate to this environment. Our water changes its like frequency and vibration because it's taking a shape, a form of like our environment also. That's why they said, if you want to change your life, first of all, you need to change your environment, because the 7 closest people who are like kind of surround you right now is these people who will determine how you think, like what you feel, and your vision, your goals, or whatever. Unless you really like super grounded in your spirit, and no matter where you are, you just kind of you enlighten and nothing touches you. You yourself became a vessel that changed everything. But in a way, if we're not in that state, then we need to be accurate who we surround ourselves with, because the more time we spend, the more our water, let's say, will naturally take a shape of the space and environment. And speaking about humility, that what does it mean to be really in the humility and be really humble? This key is bringing the question of surrendering. And it's said that the true surrender is something that very rare to happen. It's letting go all your ideas, all the knowledge, everything you kind of accumulated. I really like how Richard Roth says that arrogance is a clinging. It's when life is taking something and you try to cling on it. It doesn't matter if it's something material or it's some identity you created, your ideas about yourself, the way you used to perceive the reality, understand yourself or the world and your mission or whatever. Arrogance is clinging, is not letting the life flow freely and try to hold on when the water of life kind of is moving through you. And when we're in this gift of humility, we are just simply learning to be empty, to be with life, to move without identification with who am I, what I should be. We kind of absolutely letting go any ideas of why, what, who, and what's the purpose of anything. In a way that your personality became just a mirror, or just like an empty vessel for your spirit to work through you. There is some kind of danger here in this key in particular, because sometimes when we experienced siddhis or high frequencies, instead of bringing them into the life and into the matter, we just try to kind of hold on them and stay up higher, and that would create spiritual arrogance also. The point is not just to stay high, the point is to bring siddhis into the life, into the matter, into your daily life, into your existence. And that's the difference also between arrogance and like the gift and the siddhi here. Because arrogance is also somebody who think, oh, I have that much spiritual experiences and I'm so like advanced and such high frequency, but then the person can be absolutely not aware of his actions, how he treats others, and what he's doing, and just stay in this like kind of high frequency that is not really high frequency anymore. It's just an arrogance and avoidance. So that's why we need to come first from the gift of leadership, to fall down, and then we can, as we say, the humility is just letting go your attachments to any ideas of your ego and what you created and what you. It's like being ready always to let go. And it's being fully in life, but at the same time, not trying to hold on to something and into something you creating or making. It's not that you avoiding creating something because like, oh, it's all doesn't matter, it's all just illusion, so I will not even do anything because it's just like a Maya. No, you're doing what is you kind of your heart tells you right now, what you came here to do, but you're just not trying to grab on or grasp and hold on onto anything. And then it rises the attitude that whatever happens is good, is divine. Reminds me of one, like a story of like a wise kind of old man who lived in some village, and he had an attitude that whatever is happening is, I welcome it. It's like, it's all good, it's all divine. And there is a story of like that. For example, honestly, I don't remember the beginning. Like this, there were several things happening, and people were commenting, "Oh, this happened," and he was like, "This is good." And then this happened, and he was like, kind of just accepting everything. And then I remember something that there was I think his horse or something. His son with his horse they've been somewhere, and then the horse broke the leg, and then also something happened with the son, and the people from villages came and like, oh, like you should be very grieving, like that your son broke his leg and like something happened with your horse. He's like, yeah, I just trust the lie. Whatever happens is good. And then like the war came and they took everybody except his son because he had a broken leg and couldn't be taken into army. So it's like that's a story showing that he was just not against the life and against what's happening, and the life was unfolding, showing the grace in each and every situation. The humility, the Siddhi here is teaching us what the grace is. Sometimes it's like a tender, sometimes it's fearful, sometimes it's fiery, and you need to accept both. Then you know what the humility is. It's absolute surrender into life with the love and gratitude, knowing that whatever happening is happening for a higher purpose, reason, and you absolutely trust in the divine timing, and kind of when you're not against anything, and then the life is showing you the bigger picture through time, and you have kind of love and gratitude in each and every moment because you know that it's all part of the divine and of your own kind of evolution. Yes. Do you want to say something?
It's this key is very trippy. It's like, yeah. Okay. I think, yeah, it's this key kind of connects with some kind of, well, we know it's also like the, what is it? The programming partner is the 60-second gene key. Oh no, it's the
No, programming partner is for the first, the fantasy.
oh yeah, it's the codon ring. That's what I was speaking about.
Mm-hmm.
No return, which this codon ring always makes you feel like you're on the edge of a cliff and you have to jump. Because yeah, this one I would say it's a bit more interesting because it's speaking more like from like collective level, like how like you have to kind of offer yourself to something beyond yourself, something like you have to offer yourself to the collective consciousness, and yeah, to avoid arrogance. It's tricky.
Not to avoid, to see it and to transmute it, because avoiding arrogance is arrogance.
Yeah, you have to know, you have like super accountability, and yeah, it's interesting. I'll definitely read more about this guy. I just realized it. I only realized now it was actually the codon ring of no return. I was like, oh, okay. That's why it's been an interesting week in a way, in many ways. Like,
I remember a long time ago, sorry, in India, when first time I was in Tiruvannamalai, when they always say there's just this quality of humility and surrender and happen when I had such a deep surrender into life and feeling that I trust whatever happened is for my high goods. Like it was like a clarity that in a way it's not important then like kind of what's gonna happen next, not because like I'm avoiding or because like I just escaping, but because I so much trust the life and the mystery of it that it doesn't matter on a kind of level of mind what's gonna come, because whatever is I know will be the best for me, something like this. Not even the best for me, whatever is like it's enough. It's whatever happens is love, kind of something like this. And
yeah,
then I don't against anything. And we can also practice this approach in a way of saying that Whatever happens is either a way for you to purify karma or a blessing for karma that you purified already. So whatever happens is good.
Yeah. I think it's like so trippy that this city is kind of made me feel like, yeah, there's this reality beyond.
The city is like, it's like a Jesus. It's like this absolute surrender.
Don't
There's
say it
no
like Jesus, otherwise we will be
there is no goal, there is no agenda. In the city there is no agenda.
yeah, I
It's
mean
just
God doesn't
simply the
have an
being.
agenda, but why he doesn't have it, why he needed an agenda? It's just God. So it's really only our minds and our cognitive faculty kind of that is stuck. I mean, it's fucking crazy. I would say it's like we are so caught in Maya and mind that it's unbelievable. And yeah, this is really, yeah, we have to go beyond it. So what about this
Okay,
33?
so let's have a little break and then we go into 33, okay?
Oh, the 33 is about Maya. Great.
Yes.
So we're perfect to talk about Maya.
I see this also when, long time ago when I was teaching a human design and I had like a personal student, I was teaching also them, of course I was giving the basics, but I was also teaching them to go through the whole mandala because they have 4 quarters in like the quarter of initiation is a mind, the first quarter that starts with the 41st jinki. So we can see the 30th, the 31st, and the 41st, the program partner. The new year, every time, each year through human design, we start with 41st jinki. It's a start codon in our DNA. We need we need a fantasy to incarnate, to start want to experience something, and it's a drive of experiencing. But there is also a high frequency there. For example, the 31st is emanation, is when you just going back to source. And in any case, there's like 4 quarters, and I remember when I was teaching, I was teaching my students to look through whole mandala to understand, to see the patterns, to see how it's like divinity explain itself, how the all keys, the all numbers, how it's all connected, creating one story, and like the archetypes, and it's like a Maya calendar, also like a cycle and how it's playing out. And it's very interesting when you start see like this, you then you understand it's all on a very different level, because you not just see there's one level when you just understand a key, for example. There is another picture when you understand the all interconnection between all of this. Then you see it from absolutely different perspective.
Yeah, that's why I was saying about how I see so much parallels with like astrology in the Gene Keys. Of course, it was like originally it was a Chinese divinational tool, so it was original like astrology in a way of China. But
Yeah, of
so
course.
kind of like trippy to, yeah, like you said, I've noticed because I have book now as well, and books always help my mind so much. When I go, I see the keys later on, and see the keys come how they're moving. It's like it's super deep.
That's why the Richard Rudd said, for example, the Jinky and your profile
Crazy.
is a hologenetic profile. It's not
Yeah,
a,
it's not a
and
joke.
wholeness, it's a wholeness. And speaking from my humility, I would say that's why I'm so good in Jinkies, because I see these patterns. I understand the connections, not just like, oh, this key or this key, but when you understand the connections. I don't remember where and from whom I heard it, and even about which topic. Like, just completely don't remember. I just remember something was shared that to understand something, you need to understand the connections between the connections. In fact, this is where all happening. It's not like this or this. The connection between these things.
That was also in the key of intelligence. What was the key of intelligence? Oh no, it was the 62 gene key. Yeah, I remember when I was reading about it, or maybe it was in the transmission, but he was saying how like an intelligent person is like is it's not about like um I think was it this key? I don't remember, but there was a key that was saying about how they're like maybe it was the key of mastery, but there was one that yeah, it was mastery. It was saying how like master or what's the stage before the master? The gift level of what is that again?
Which
The
key is
key,
speaking
the
about?
city of mastery. I don't, it was like 40. I don't remember. Any case, it was
There
saying,
is no mastery, maybe something else.
yeah, master. There's master. No? Yes. Indifference, versatility, and mastery. The 16th gene key. That this one. I remember when we were talking about the 16th
Ah,
gene
you
key.
mean
It
the
was
master of
talking
heart.
about this exact thing we're discussing, which is like the intelligence is actually how you can like see everything is interconnected. That's how a true mastery happens.
Ah, yeah, okay, I
And
understand what you said.
this is it. Like I would say what what is true intelligence and what I see, for example, in like this is where, like, for example, I was always like annoyed with teachers at university, for example, who, they're like really good at like one thing or one subject or one topic, but it's like when it comes to like interweaving everything, I would say they weren't bad. Like they're professors, so they're very good at it. But I would say the people who
Be
really
careful, maybe they're watching us.
I, I'm sure they don't even have jobs anymore because philosophy department's going bust. But like the thing that always attracted to me about like real like masters was like yeah, it was like gurus were like yogis, people who were like kind of like for example Sadhguru. I always was at that time I was very interested in this kind of way of thinking because he wasn't just like wasn't just a philosopher. He was also like someone who can like touch on so many different fields, like yoga, biology. I mean, he was quite yogic and everything, but that's just an example of where like true mastery is coming from. It's like and how we kind of understand gene keys fully. It's like when we understand everything in a way. All right.
Okay.